And we're off to the races. All right, so good morning. Today is Tuesday, Tuesday, May 5th. May 5th. It is Cinco de Mayo. We've already been in the little groups with Renee saying Taco Tuesday, so make sure that we've got our beans going, not our ground meat. There we go. All right, so good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. And today I have with me my friend Kathi Claudino. And this came from a conversation we were having actually a couple of times because we like to have fun and pull our good morning, Wendy's on, and pull cards together for each other. And so there she goes. And Debbie, say hi to Debbie Murphy. She's on too. I wonder, Kathi, if you can you see it from your phone at the same time? Yeah, I bet you can to go on and see it. Good. Why not, right? Good morning. We've got Mary Lynn. Good morning. Good morning. We got Laura. All right, so you can. It's so funny. I love it. All right, so Kathi, or Annette, are you Staten Island? Where are you from again? I know it's New York. Not that you can tell any accents, but Kathy's New York too. I'm New York also, but up in Westchester. So morning, everybody. And the beautiful Sandy is on as well. Good morning, Kristen. Thank you. All right, so Kathi and I go back, Matt's 19, so it's 20 plus years of friendship. In fact, Sarah Post, who often joins us, lives in the house I used to live in that was back to back with Kathi. So 20 years ago, I was 3 kids in, and Kathi moved into the house behind me, and we became sister friends. So we've been through thick and thin. Danielle says she's got a Jersey accent. We've been through thick and thin and up and down and back and forth and then some. And so we were having a conversation the other day, and she was trying to post to this page and couldn't. So I said, all right, so we're trying to figure it out. And I had something shut off so that she couldn't get on here. So you want to tell them about the card that you pulled repeatedly so far, and maybe backdate to our friendship and where we come from, so they get your side. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Maybe if hold on. Let me see. Can you? All right. So they were saying they can't hear you. So maybe now, can you hear now? Kathi, talk. Talk a little louder. Let's talk a little louder because they're.
Loud enough?
Yeah.
Loud.
I'm gonna put it up. Okay.
I can hear myself.
Now can you hear Kathi? Because I took the it might have been because of the headset. All right, so go ahead. Let's try that.
Okay, so I'm going back to the necklace that you had given me.
Yeah, let's see.
We first met like a few months in, maybe. And it was that. Do you remember that metal? It was like a piece of metal. It looked like a body that was like twisted.
So they can. Oh, good. Now they can hear you. So
Now
perfect.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep. All right. So we were talking about
I have to go back a little further.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right?
Yep.
Mike rang the doorbell and introduced. He had, I think, Connor in his hands. He was real little, and introduced, come over to meet Kathi, and I'll never forget going into the sunroom, and they were on these like little 3-wheelers, like, you know, it was like, and it was Matt in his little bouncy seat, and I was like, oh my God, it's just, you know, these kids were running around outside. I was like, somebody's gonna get hurt. I didn't have kids.
And so what we were talking about, what they missed was that I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I was working on, I think, having a 4th at this point, and somebody bought me a little fertility god. And
Right.
So, and what Kathi said earlier, what you guys missed was she had multiple miscarriages, and before when we had met, multiple miscarriages. So, and was working on getting pregnant. So again, so I had given her this little fertility god that worked for me, but and actually, not that the fertility god was it, but after that, you were able to get pregnant.
Well, that was right. That was actually 10 years right into my marriage. And then I got pregnant after you gave me that thing, that necklace that I wore. I wish I knew where it was. I think I gave it back.
I think I gave it to my sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that was like, oh, okay. I don't really know how, but she just gave me this necklace. And now magic's going to happen. And then, magic happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So Kathi we were talking just like yesterday and thought this would be a good conversation to have with everybody because, we came into this thing and had the rug pulled out from underneath us and had to quickly adjust. But then, we were saying how like now many of us may feel like we're in some false sense of security in this home place. And like Kathi was saying, like it's going to be an adjustment actually coming out of it for a lot of people as well, because you were saying you felt off center.
So go backwards to like a big part of the friendship. It all stems from that, like how I'm feeling today. And I know this isn't about me, but I can't imagine that no one else feels the same way. The things that at the time I was suffering from and feeling depressed, and that you helped me tremendously come out of that. And it was years of just healing and learning, different ways to think and see yourself and your life and your worth. And all this quiet time is, unfortunately, it's digging that feeling back up and just being in the house. Now, it's not just the being in the house, it's that if I don't have a purpose that keeps me moving and busy and mentally going, I overthink, and then all that stuff starts bubbling up again because there's just too much empty time to fill. And what do? Your mind goes crazy. And I was even listening to Dr. Phil yesterday, and some girl came on and she said, I feel depressed and lonely, even though I'm in the house with people. And he said, it's not uncommon. This is not uncommon. You're not alone. You're not the only person that feels that way. So I was thinking, well, then we saw each other Saturday. We won't see each other. We saw each other probably every day for 17 years. That's
right.
And then we saw each other Saturday. That stopped by. And I just felt so good the whole weekend. I felt it was like the reminder. That's what I needed. That reminder, oh, everything's going to be fine. It just sort of was like a check thing. Like, when you connect to the person that makes you feel good, suddenly it just felt like, I don't know, I felt normal again. Just connecting, you are, even though you're in the house with your kids and whatever, and you are around people, it's different. It's not the same. And my job has me interacting all day long. I'm in and out of stores, people, phone calls, and I'm in silence,
right.
basically. And it was really starting to bringing up that feeling again. I didn't like it at all, and I don't know how I'm going to go back out there.
Right.
So like I can't go back out there. Like if I don't get going now and keep myself up, it's going to be like dragging 1,000 pounds
to get back outside
and everything. Just I don't know. Does anybody else feel weird?
Well, I think so because, like, we have been in this, like, pushed into this whole place where it's confusing. It's like, we're have a false sense of reality now of being home so much with our kids, where they're just now it's 24 hours a day that they're home, and then they're going to be back as we go back to normal. It's going to be weird to see them coming back out into life. I'm used to now having them around. And so there's going to be adjustments. And I think some of us are going to feel separation anxiety because we are releasing people back into the world, which was 2 minutes ago normal. But I also think that there's a process, and we can follow a process of getting back out there. And it can be healthy because it's not what it was. It's not what it will be. It's a reformulation of a new way of being. And like what I've been saying is, and I listen to a lot of people that are calling, most of them are calling this the Great Awakening. And they're counting down the days of this Great Awakening, which started on April 4th. Even though we shut down, when we shut down, the Great Awakening was a transition of planetary vibes and such that we're going to be in, which is positive for a very long time. And so this, to me, was just a way of reformulating our entire planet. There's a name for the vibration of planet Earth. I heard it this morning, but I didn't retain it. And about on April 4th, millions of people were meditating at the same time, and they could measure the vibration of the planet, which has been rising at warp speed. Because as we say, people are waking up, people are finding their voice. We're listening to, it's actually starting to seep into the mainstream. A lot of the stuff that I've been listening to is starting to seep into the mainstream, like Fox News and this and that, where, we're not being controlled by government, or as they call them, the elite people, the light people on the planet, the light workers. And we're all light workers of some kind, but like Kathi, you're a manifester. So where I would be the empath, and I would be feeling and intuitively helping people get through, Kathi could manifest what she wanted to bring in to, like, literally, like, I'm going to a party on Friday, and there's no way I'm going to be able to find what to wear. And in 1 second, she comes to my house, rings the doorbell, and it's an $8 dress from a back rack hidden somewhere in a store that couldn't be more perfect. Like, I couldn't have done it in a million years on my own.
Visualization is amazing.
It's unbelievable. So
it is. If you can really tap into just visualization and just seeing something, you can literally have it in front of you.
So imagine that, because I've done it so many times. When I first moved to this house, I used to look at things in magazines and see them as mine, to the point where I had to have it because it was, I had so convinced myself that it was mine. But this can be done for the same exact tools that we use to manifest and visualize and bring into our life, can be used to transition into this new beautiful space. So what I've been saying to people all along is, borrow my faith. Father John from St. Bart said this. I thought it was wonderful. Sorrow looks back, worry looks around, and faith looks up. I said it yesterday. Faith looks up. So as we start to come out, and we're going to feel almost like we're on a bike with training wheels. I think some of us, like we're coming out on training wheels, and we want to ride a little slower than we used to, and we want to take the training wheels and lift them up a little bit, and then maybe ride back on our own. We will see that there is beauty waiting for us on the other side, that there's no way even corporations and jobs can go backwards to what it once was, because we've now been forced into experiencing what we now have. So say that again. Okay, so, and there's a little bit of a delay because I'm on Zoom. So Kristen wants me to say it again. We're going to be coming out, and I don't know if this is it, like we're riding a bike on training wheels. And we're going to eventually see that the training wheels can come up a little bit as we find our balance and keep riding, knowing that we have the comfort of all things new brought in with old things old. So what I listen to and the things that I hear are, we're in a great awakening. We in our group have been calling it a new oasis of well-being, which is NOW, or now. We are in a beautiful place in the present of now, meaning there is so many beautiful things going on that we're learning in this state of slowing down. And Kathi, even you said working on your physicality is easy for you. That's your outlet of weights and training. It's working on the inside where it gets to be tricky for you. And you've been working on that, spending an hour when you have, every other week Kathy's on furlough, so she's not allowed to go near an email or a text or anything work related. So she's now kind of being pushed into an open space of time to work on those inner feelings and thoughts as well.
Being just a better person in many ways. And the thing that I'm saying you're struggling with going back is you don't recognize how much you're not there, how much you're not present, how much you're always going. Quit being at it. Plenty of people work full time. You have kids, but it's not until you're not there that you realize how much more you can do. And now going back out, realizing how much less you're going to be back at being able to do for them. In your home, everything just, everything's nice. It's in order. Kids are eating dinner at the same time. Life is, it's nice and easy. You're going to go back into that race of going all day and all night again. And I'm trying to find, while I'm in the quiet, a way to have that better somehow.
So my way of saying it, and good morning, Nicole and Sarah and everybody on here. So my thought is, my thought is we're not going out the way we came in. So the way I see it is not as scary because we crashed into this. We crashed and burned into this. This is something that the world stopped on purpose, and I believe there are higher purposes going on for reasons why it stopped, so that the planet could heal and people could wake up. We were working at such a warp speed that behind the scenes right now, there are people that are coming to light that maybe that we would have never seen if we were in our constant state. So there's other things going on, but we don't talk about them here. We talk about the fact that we're all waking up. We have voices. We can say what doesn't feel good to us. Like even as simple as by putting a post up the day before the governor said, open up the parks, when I said, let us go outside. I felt like a rebel. Only one day later did he say, let's go. But to me, that was me speaking up when I didn't know if it was going to be a month from now or 3 months from now. I was speaking up and using my voice, which doesn't always fly well for some people. But we have a voice and we can use it. And if people don't like what we're saying, we also have a delete button and a block button. And there's ways to clean up a lot of things in our life. And when we come back out there, we're not coming back out, is my point, in the same way we came in. So we crashed and burned into this. We've had, I think, what did I say yesterday? Yesterday was 48. So 49 days into this of since New Jersey shut down. And I would like to shut the door, but I'm just going to use the tissue. 49 days into it. We're closer to summer than we were to the day New Jersey shut down. How fascinating is that? But we have choice. We can choose how we come back out of this. We have absolute power in the path that we take, and it won't be the fast path, so we don't have to worry about that. Remember, worry looks around, worry looks ahead, but faith looks up, and being in the present moment is what we have absolute control over. And when we take out the next step out tomorrow and the next day and the next month, we can take it with such grace and ease that we can ease into it, because you have the power to do that. You have the power to.
The message, like without knowing it, it's saying find your way to change it, going back out.
And
you go back the same. You can't go back the same.
And you won't. And that's the beauty with that. This is showing you now is that you have the ability and the right to go back out in however you want to choose to go back out there. And so let's say, the way it was before wasn't working for most people. So we can go out now with a beautiful pace of slow. The kids don't have to be, as we can see, involved in absolutely everything. And we were asleep before. We were operating in our sleep. We were working in our sleep. We were exercising in our sleep. We were like we've been talking about, and this is, I think, so important. We were so focused on the outside looking in at the physicality and how I looked and how I compared and how I stood next to the next person. And now we're really coming within to look out at the world instead of the world looking out at or back at us, or seeing through eyes from the outside of ourselves and just constant physicalness. Now we know we're just spiritual beings having a physical experience. So the most important part of us is inside, and our inner being and our inner health and our inner light, and shining that light as we come back out and we breathe into the re-entrance and we breathe into the slowness of it. and we take with us all the beautiful lessons we learned from this time of ease and slow, and re-entering with way more grace and way more positive, beautiful attitude and appreciation for everything we're experiencing in this presence of now.
I am looking forward to a new way out there, that's for sure. It was just too much.
It was too much.
Too much.
And
I don't want to go at that pace anymore.
No.
It just doesn't even feel like you're living life. You're just constant going, racing, rushing, getting, you're out of this, get that, pick up the phones are ringing, emails are coming. Nobody should have to live at that pace.
No.
You know, I'm not running a company, you know.
Right.
It's just a job. But there's so much pressure, you know, I don't know if we put it on ourselves or just trying to do everything and try to do it all perfect. But I definitely, this has been quite an experience being in the house. It's a gift. I really see it as I mean, it's a shame. It's horrible what's going on out there, but I mean, I feel like it's a gift for me. I needed that.
Yeah, I think for most people. And I like, when they say life is short when you go through life asleep. But life doesn't have to be short if we're living it in our most awakened state, in our most awakened presence. If you're present to life every single day, then life doesn't have to be short, because that's where fear comes in. That's the fear, attitude of, life is short, and then it gets taken away. That's only if we're not living in the present moment. And really, listening to Eckhart Tolle, who was so fascinating, but even how he speaks is so slow. It's like listening to him talk about the power of now is fascinating, because he even speaks in such a slow way. Everything slows down, and you get to really hear his messages. I mean, we did a New Earth together back with Diane McGee, so it has to be 10 years ago or more, when Oprah was doing her book clubs on Monday nights before they were even book clubs and stuff. All right, so Sarah's here. I've made several positive changes with what I've learned from this quarantine, including cutting back my workday from 12 hours to 9 and sticking with it. More time to be present with my family. I had let it get away from me. And exactly. And that's because we put so much pressure on ourselves to create this place and space that has to be overworking, overdone in order to be good. And what if we wake up to the fact that we have absolute power to create beautiful balance in our lives, where at 5 o'clock, job's done. If it's just a job, then leave it as a job, because nothing can replace the beautiful time spent with people that we love. And another thing that I think will be crucially helpful in getting us back out there is the fact that while we've been staying at home, the one thing we don't have a plethora of, which we did have before, was our friendships and our relationships. And so that part has been Zooming and quick hellos for people who aren't afraid, and hugs, which we will do because we're not living in fear. And so we have this whole contingency of relationships and friendships that we haven't had a chance to have, that will be part of this coming back out, which I think will be super helpful. And for me, there's two attitudes. Like, what are you going to do when it opens up? Where are you going first? And one way I would have thought was, to think like, I'm out of here. I'm going here. I'm going to this bar, this restaurant, or this. And I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to myself also maintain a beautiful, slow, well-balanced pace, because I don't want to have an I'm out of here attitude, because that I don't want anyone around me and my surroundings to feel almost rejected by my departure. And I want to honor the fact that I'm not looking to bolt, so that people don't feel rejected by my wanting to go, because then it would feel like this false sense of protection and conditioning of being home wasn't real, when we can actually sit in the fact that it has been a beautiful time and space with loved ones. And I'm not looking to bolt or ditch or get out there. I want to get back out there as well with grace and style, and and a slow speed to really finding my way back to, or not my way back to, but my way forward to. So we can't go back. So we go my way forward to something new and beautiful where the grass is greener, the pollutants are reduced, the smog is clearing. Like there's so many fantastic things going on out there. The fish are coming back to the waters. Their waters are clearer and you can see the fish. The birds yesterday were so beautiful. I saw so many pretty birds as I walked through the neighborhood. So trust the process that we can create a beautiful, slow walking red carpet back into nature and reality. And take with us the style and grace that came from being at home in this absolute gift of a time where if we're not on the front lines and we had this time and space to be in this place and pray. Actually, that's a big one and one that they talk about a lot. The way to work our way to a new, more beautiful place is through collective prayer and everyone praying together for a more beautiful planet, a more beautiful place and peace, and prayer for leadership and guides of truth to come out to help us go through this new, which is on its way.
I joined the 700 Club. Has anyone heard of that? It's called the 700 Club. It's all prayer. It's on Facebook.
Okay.
So good. It's all miracles.
I love that because
Amazing.
a lot of them. So it's actually the number 700 Club for if we were to look it up. Okay.
Yep. And also finding like even if it's just one thing. It's my.
Let the dog out.
Finding one thing to be better at or grow in or heal when you hear. Everybody has things, whatever they are. It doesn't have to be a problem in your life. It could just be anything. But the time is here. So I'm taking that time and going, this thing that I just want better. And every day I work on something to get it there, to make it better. Because I otherwise wouldn't have the time because the mental time isn't there when you're racing. And that one of the things I'm doing is, like you said, I'm not going back out there like where I was. Can't take the clutter, the racing, and also it made me think about because I drive all day, it's like 700 miles a week, and often I'm trying to race back for whatever, an appointment for the kids who's got the dentist. I've got to be here, I'm all the way up in Bergen County or Newton or now I'm going to be traveling to Connecticut, New York. And I'm not racing. I'm in a car. I'm not racing.
No,
because that's when you lose sight of everything because you're so trying to be so ahead of everything, slowing down. This has just been like pull the reins in. I love the slowness, and I'm taking that slowness right back out with me. I don't care how many emails come in or my boss is banging on the door. I'm not doing it.
Right.
I don't want to live in that. I don't want to live in that, and you have to practice that though, because when you're constantly moving like that and you're not really living in it's not living authentically really to who you are if everything is just moving.
Right.
You're not even living in it, you're just moving in it. I don't want to move in it, I want to be in it.
Absolutely. And remember the other day we were talking about the masculine and the feminine, and
yeah.
So I read this article yesterday with this woman Christine Ammerman. We took a little quiz too. Yeah, it was so cool.
Goodness.
Oh my goodness. And
everyone needs to take it.
I'll post the quiz and then you get the results.
Incredible.
Because she talks about core wounds and in all that activity and all that action as men and women, we were talking about this, and this is a fascinating avenue I'm really working on exploring. I actually have a call with this woman on Thursday. It's free. Like I took the quiz and she has times.
Did you take the 1 o'clock or the 5?
2:30 on Thursday.
On Friday.
Yeah, I love that. So that we can, of course she's got a package of some kind, but I'm curious because in all of that activity, we become outbalanced in our masculine and feminine energies. And so here are some, I'm going to just kind of read them off. Some signs of masculine side, and this is for both men and women, because we both have both masculine and feminine energies. And my masculine had become so overpowered on my feminine. And even though I love makeup and put on dresses and this and that, I have a feminine side, but the action paced life and really working so hard to be seen instead of for just who I am. And in fact, when I was in New York City and I did that workshop, one of the activities or exercises that they put us through was fascinating. We sat one-on-one in front of someone, and this woman was a stranger to me. And we were engaged in, there was music going on, and we had to say to that person, as they guided us in narration, your mother's speaking to you, your father's speaking to you, whether they're alive or not. And this is what they would say. And what would you say to them? And what is it that to the one person that's sitting in front of you, if they could represent somebody else, what would you say to them? And I went on and on and on about what I would like to be seen for. I do this, and I do this, and I want to be seen for this and this. And then they stopped it, and I felt so relieved that I had purged out all that I want to be seen for. And then they did something very surprising. And the commentator said, okay, it didn't work. We're not done. And then I was like, what? And that was the most pivotal part of this experience because we went back into it. And that was so key to me because I realized something profound in it. I didn't want to be seen for all that I did. That's just me screaming and screaming and screaming through activities and actions. How amazing would it be just to be able to just be yourself? That's the feminine side. The feminine side is the part that just is, that just allows. But in the race and in the rat race of life out there, we're working, working, working to be seen. Did you see what I did? Did you see this trophy? Did you see this honor that I got? Did you all see it? Because I'm screaming. Did everybody see it? Where just being present is enough, that we are all enough just as we are. And that to me was one of the most powerful lessons. So I just want to read it quickly because I know we've got everybody and people need to get out there and go get out there and walk. So masculine is competition, and women do this really well. Feminine side, cooperation. So imagine cooperating together as a female force, which we all do here now in our sharing, cooperating instead of competing. Beautiful. Independence. I am independent. I am on my collaborating is the feminine side. Exclusivity. I got there first. I did it first. Inclusivity, which we did beautifully when we were doing Lift. It was love, inclusion, fitness together, breaking down the walls of color to bring women together. Because at the end of the day, we are all women or men. We're human beings. So forget about the stuff. Control, masculine. Surrender, give it up, feminine. Strength, vulnerability, sharing authentically is vulnerable, but we've been doing it. We've been honest. We've been out here. I started YouTube in July, and I was really working to make a weekly video. And Kathi and I would talk, and my friend Damien would say the same thing. Kathi, the videos are good. Don't get me wrong, but you're not using your gifts. I mean, I was trying to figure out how to translate all this stuff into YouTube when I didn't think people were ready for it or ready for me. But in this time of waking up, I have been able to come to everyone as my most authentic self. And I'm not even talking about carbohydrates. Yeah. Intellect, the all-knowing, intuition. When we release the intellect and having to just be in our mind and our focus in our brain, we can hear our intuition. And you have one of the greatest intuitions, Kathi. You already possess inside of you the strength, power, and ability to move forward because all you have to do is listen to your intuition. It's your greatest guide, and you have it.
100%.
Justice, make justice happen, or forgiveness. Giving, receiving. This is crucial because we give. This group of people give. You have to be able to receive to let the feminine rise back up. And that is something I think many of us struggle to do, but learning to receive is going to be crucially important. Action-based life over rest, where where when we have free time, do we take more action or do we rest and let our feminine side rise up? Rigidity, I can't say it, rigidity or fluidity. All right, I can't say either one of them. Rigidity, fluidity, rigidity, or letting things flow. Judgment, nope, we are leaving that behind. Compassion for others. I mean, it's so beautiful when you see the hard to the soft, the odd numbers to the even numbers, the straight edges to the rounded curves, acidic to alkaline. And what happens in an alkaline body? Ease. What happens in an acidic body? Dis-ease. So this whole path or pattern leads to ease. And when there's ease, we will get through this beautifully. And there won't be the on the oncoming of the diseases, because we're leaving fear and judgment and action and giving and justice and intellect behind for the more beautiful, softer side of balancing in ourselves. And those are superpowers, which I'll post in here today, that we can take with us into our new oasis of well-being.
I love it.
Yeah, that feels so good, right?
One of the things I was reading about, it connects to that, was when you have a sickness, an illness, like, let's say, a problem with your heart or whatever it might be. A lot of the articles I was reading were that these people had suffered, whether it was molestation in younger years or abuse from a parent, terrible childhoods, they weren't able to forgive in their adulthood, and that caused them a lot of physical ailments. And when they were able to truly forgive it, a lot of their ailments went away.
Absolutely. Because
diseases that were true diseases that they said were miracles, that they were actually turned around, like specifically an aneurysm. One woman had an aneurysm, and they said it was going to travel to, and it just vanished. But she went through this whole thing about, she was like put on the streets when she was 14, like by her own mother.
Right.
Yeah, like horrible. So it's true, because the physical body, your mind, your body, the whole connection of it all.
Absolutely.
Control, making yourself feel good, not good, based on a lot of things you just said. You have to go on that other side. Forgiveness is huge. Forgive yourself.
Well, and this Thursday is a full moon, and full moon is a perfect time for forgiveness. So I'll put the link to the full moon kit where we work on forgiveness and forgiving ourselves for things we didn't know, for forgiving our parents for not being able to do what was, same, like they said that these core wounds come from already inside the womb, that they're already they're not being developed necessarily at 7 or 10, but already from just being inside the womb, a core wound can be created. So I'll put that up there and see how people come in on that quiz, because that was fascinating. And then I read further about it saying, imagine that if it comes from the womb, and these are something that are learned, it goes so far back, but we have the absolute ability to turn it around, as I have been working on and working with people to turn it around, so that these chunks of coal that we all are can be bright diamonds and shining just so beautifully, because it is our right to shine our own diamond.
Right. I've always said, like, with just, I use my mother as an example. I say she's not in my life, but she's a victim too.
Yeah.
Everyone is in their own way. You
Yep.
have to break that cycle,
Right.
so that you do better for your children or whatever happens. But everyone has their, I can recognize that. Maybe she wasn't able to. Somewhere along the line, somebody has to break the cycle.
Right.
Because it's not your fault if you didn't know any better, if you learn a certain way, or you grew up a certain way, until you learn as you evolve, make friends.
Right. Exactly. And see different perspective like this. I'm coaching a woman right now who's going through a divorce, and she's getting divorced from a narcissistic personality. and the things I'm showing her and sharing with her are a perspective that in her mid 40s, she never would have looked at this way from before. So seeing different perspectives. So this time and space of this transition that we've been going through has been phenomenal, because there's been just so many things that we can learn, that we can share, that we can come out as different people in regard to having raised our own vibration, which raises the vibration on the planet, which makes everybody feel better. So just know that you're not alone. No one's alone. We're part of a collective. And as we stay connected in this inclusivity instead of exclusivity, we work all together and we come out of it all together.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. All right. So it's been a little bit of time here, like maybe 40 minutes. So we'll work to wrap it up. Should we pick a card before we go?
Why not?
Okay. Why don't I pick? What do you have yours with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Wait, I have to get up.
okay. I'll pick and then Kathi will pick, or whatever. She can pick and then we'll pick. I'm going to pick from, oh, it picked itself. So if a card falls out of a deck,
It's yours.
it's yours. And so mine,
Where should I go from? Work your light or?
do work your light. Whatever you want. You tell me. That could be
Well, you can
good.
ask this one you have to ask a question to. Angel answers.
All right, so then do the work your light. And that's up to you, unless you have the good question you want to ask it. So what did I pick? I don't even know. Let's see.
I can't see it. Wait.
Okay, so this is fairness. The situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. Let's see if I can find it in here while you're working to pick.
I'm shuffling in case anybody can see me.
75. Okay.
I have to break mine into 3.
All right. So mine is, it's called MAT, M-A-A-T. Message from Mott. Let me suggest another definition for fairness. It's when all parties involved surrender their personal agendas in favor of the greater good for the entirety of the group. Let's call it planet. This requires trust in the wisdom of the whole. Fascinating. When it comes to matters of disputes, the attacks are based on fears, and you may not receive your share. Yet attacks amplify the hurt and the pain that caused the dispute in the first place. Why not surrender your attachment to a specific outcome and instead direct your holy will toward the resolution of the argument? Hold a firm vision of a peaceful outcome and let the pieces fall into place in a harmonious manner. Various meanings. A lawsuit will be resolved. A dispute will end harmoniously. You'll be treated fairly. Keep everyone's needs in mind during negotiations. Release guilt and shame, as these emotions can attract a punishing attack. Maat is the Egyptian goddess of integrity, fairness, and justice, who holds a scale that measures souls against a feather at a time of death to detect any heaviness from guilt. Maat protects us in business and personal relationships, ensuring that we're treated fairly and honorably. Call upon her signing any contract during a dispute or whenever you feel guilty or remorseful. And so what I was saying before was that the darkness is coming to light in this time that we're quiet, and we're entering a more fair time on planet Earth where truth and light will win. Okay, you go.
You're not going to believe my card. Take a break.
Oh.
I got this one the other day when I pulled the 3. So take a break. Don't mind my glasses, they're filthy as usual. I just literally read this to you 2 days ago.
Yeah.
About getting off the treadmill.
Yes.
Of life.
Yeah.
A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. It's okay to take a break and enjoy your creations. To take a moment from your busy schedule to get off the treadmill of life, to appreciate and acknowledge all that you have created, achieved, released, or experienced before rushing on to the next thing. To be in the moment and enjoy where you are. To take a breath and regather your mind, body, and spirit. To recalibrate, appreciate, and celebrate. To decide on what you really want to experience next. If you take a moment, you are not going to miss out. Perhaps you have just completed a big project, manifested something significant in your life, released an old way of being, or just been burning the candle at both ends. Now is the time to take some time out before rushing on to the next thing. You did it. Enjoy yourself and recalibrate. Go on vacation, book a massage, take long walks in nature, go away for a rejuvenating weekend to recharge and replenish. Come
That's
on.
perfect. I mean, seriously.
Everything I said yesterday,
Yes.
like,
And why we're here
I
today to
feel
talk
like,
about it.
yeah, and then you feel guilty taking the break.
But-
And then I pulled those 3 cards. The other one was it's just crazy. It's always meant to be the right one at the right exact time.
For the right person, too, which is even more amazing. So Eileen, my sister, says, thanks, ladies, for a beautiful, positive way to start my day. Going walking when you are done. I'm going to have a positive, productive, healthy day. Wonderful info. Thank you. Awesome, Sissy.
Hi,
Eileen. All right. So that was perfect. Beautiful. Thank you very much for Kathy's not comfortable coming onto these Zooms. So I appreciate her being here. I wasn't either, but now I'm getting more comfortable as we go. So this is a big deal. And I appreciate your sharing your authenticity and vulnerability and being with us to share 2 sides of a story.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to do it. If you just, I would tell the story from the beginning, so we'll do it again. And it's good for me because I'll just get more comfortable with it. I don't know what I'm uncomfortable about. If we can talk about it, it's judgment.
Yeah.
You know, when I had to do that whole thing in front of all the people in the company, they said, "Why are you so uncomfortable?" I said, "I don't know. I feel judged."
Well,
I don't know why.
let's
talk about that.
Right. So judgment, the opposite of judgment is compassion. So in this group, we're working with compassion. Sarah says, amazing session this morning, and so good to have reinforcement that taking a break is okay and good. It is not only okay and good, it is your right. You were given this monster of a gift to reset. So let's not waste it for 1 second. Let's go with compassion, appreciation, vulnerability, forgiveness, love, gratitude, and all things positive as we take it to our new beautiful oasis of well-being. So it is our right to feel good. We had to shut the world down in order to get that message. So the world shut down so we could hear the message that we deserve. And that is, it is our right to feel good, right? It's good to feel good.
Yep. Thanks, Kath.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful, wonderful, sunshine-filled day. I'm going to end this with love. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good one.
You too.
Love you.
Love you too.